Hey guys, so I don't know when the next time I'm gonna have a half hour to myself where I can sit down with a tripod and do this video a little bit more formally. So I'm just gonna do it vlog style because I wanna get it done because I'm gonna forget my whole Lenten social free experience. On a side note, being a mom of toddlers is absolutely insane. My little boy is like having 8 children. I swear, I kind of picture him as the man who's gonna play Thor in the Thor reboot. Like that, he's just like, I am boy and I will destroy. Like he's so intense. Anyway, it's been a bit of an interesting day so far. Okay, so this video is on giving up social media for Lent, going 40-ish days without Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, and sharing how it went. Listen, this is not glamorous YouTube right now. Like I've said, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I feel like it's something I have to be on, but don't necessarily thoroughly enjoy being on. It was kind of put on my heart, which I don't really like when people say that. I don't know why, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It was put on my heart to like give it up for Lent, and I was kind of like, I don't need to give it up for Lent. That's so cliche, you know, going on Facebook for Lent, like see ya. And I didn't think I needed to, but I did, because that's what I complained about. Like Facebook is so like all these people, like I just complained about social media all the time. So clearly that was what I needed to give up, and so I did. And my husband did not think I could do it, and I did it, and it was amazing. And I kind of was like, maybe I'll just delete all of my accounts right now. Lion is making his debut. What does the lion say?
Roar.
Roar. Say, this is what I use to scare Ella all the time.
Yeah.
So when I initially gave it up, I just found myself ending up at my accounts when I picked up my phone. Like I just ended up getting to Instagram, not even really thinking, totally mindless. And, you know, I immediately kind of, when it opened up, I was like, what am I doing? And got out of it, which I hated recognizing in myself because it just went to show, like, I am boy and I will destroy. Lions and trucks. I'm telling you, this Thor reboot ever happens. I hated recognizing that in myself because it just went to show how mindless the whole thing had been for me, and how addicting it can be without even really realizing it. Like, I am not somebody who's like taking 300 selfies a day and Instagramming, storying like every single movement of my life. Like, I don't do it for a living, so I'm not attached to it that way, but I'm attached to it, I think, as anybody, like any average person would be who has an account. And so that was my first kind of like, okay, this is good that I'm giving it up, because clearly this is ridiculous. And in the first week, I was just bothered by my thinking, bothered where my thoughts were ending up. Like, you know, the kids would do something really cute together, like something silly or funny, and I would kind of go reach for my phone and be like, oh, then make a funny boomerang. What? Who does that? I mean, I was like, wait, I'm not going on Instagram right now. Like, I don't even need to, that's not where my head needs to go when my kids are being cute together. I can just watch them be cute together. Like, who needs to like go make a boomerang? Oh my God, like I'm not even, okay. So that was kind of phase 1. Just like detoxing my thoughts, my thought process, kind of like getting out of that, oh, I need my phone, I gotta take a picture. That whole thing. Phase 2 was getting a little bit more serious. During the time I had given up I hate that this is so like not, like this is a pretty serious video and I wanted to make it serious, but this is clearly what it's just gonna be. Phase 2 was serious. The Parkland shooting happened during the time I was off social media, and that was probably the first day where I realized how I consume my news, which was eye-opening for me, who, you know, I was a journalism major. I did a little bit of like a little stint at a news station, and I've always thought I consumed my news, in my opinion, as one should, meaning not on Facebook and social media. But I realized that I really kind of get my news from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like if something happens, I find it out through social media. And what I realized, what bothered me most about that was when you're finding your news or when you're consuming your news from social media, you're not just consuming news. You're consuming the commentary attached to the news, which is what always bugs me. Like when I first hear of a story, or even if it's like days old, I don't want to hear, typically I don't want to hear someone's commentary on it. I want to hear what happened. I don't want to hear the slanted version, whatever. So I didn't hear about Parkland until like that night when my husband got home, because it happened in the middle of the day. I didn't have the TV on. I didn't have any ABC push notifications or anything like that. And I sat down and did a legitimate, like, okay, what do I miss about Facebook? What was I actually consuming on there that I liked? And how should I consume what I think I should be consuming on a daily basis? And so I realized the only two things that I really, really liked about Facebook and actually missed when I was off. One was the Father Mike Schmitz videos from Ascension Press. They're like 5 to 10 minute just videos that are kind of like homily-ish about topics that I enjoy. I think they're just great little spiritual food that doesn't get me all riled up. It leaves me with something positive and productive and that. And I missed that. So I looked into that and downloaded I found out there was a Father Mike podcast. Downloaded that. Okay, check, one done. News. I like kind of know what's going on. You can argue that you don't need to know what's going on in the world, I guess, especially if you're Catholic, because, you know, it's not pertinent to your salvation and all that. That's completely valid. I just, like I said, journalism major. I like knowing what's going on and that whole song and dance. So I downloaded the ABC News app, enabled push notifications, and that is how I started getting my news. Something big happening, something crazy happening, whatever. I found out the bare bone basics from a push notification, the headline, and, excuse me, I would intentionally consume my news then. I would sit down at some point if I had a spare minute, and I would go to the ABC app and actually read stories, news stories, not like, you know, pages and pages and pages of just like bloggers' takes on news stories or, you know, all that noise, which I liked and I found productive because I felt intentional about what I was consuming. Second thing that I actually realized that I miss about Facebook is my journalism professor in college. She always has just awesome commentary on things that's happening. She was my journalism professor, so I mean she's got the craft. She knows what she's doing, and anything that's happening, the Parkland shooting, for example, I just always kind of take comfort in reading her commentary. So that's something else that I missed. Phase 3, I would say, of my whole experience was just getting comfortable living a social media free life. There were some things that I was completely out of the loop on, like someone had a baby and she was born with a disease, and it's been a difficult situation for this family. And someone brought it up, one of my friends or something, and I said, oh, she was born. I didn't even know she was born, you know? So it was just things like you do notice that you're completely out of the loop on some things. That's what I was initially scared. That's what I was initially thinking of when I thought, okay, maybe I will give up social media, was just stupid. Like, what if, well, this was actually the case, someone had their baby, but I was like, what if a stranger has their baby on Instagram? I won't be able to see the pictures. What if I lose 100,000 followers? I have like 400 followers. I lost like maybe 7. Not even a problem. And it was just like all these completely meaningless things. And once I was off social media, you kind of realize how not real it is, if that makes sense. Like, just, okay, it's not real. Like, it is real to an extent, and I don't want to say it like it's not, because there are some beautiful things that can happen over social media, Facebook, campaigns that can be started for people who are in great need. One of my husband's friends was hit by a car when I was, I had given up social media, and I went on Facebook, and I asked, for people to pray for him, and they did, and there are just some wonderful things that can be achieved, but there also is just the overall mentality can get a little rough. Here's another lesson that I learned, which is very fitting for something I posted on Facebook today, is that getting off social media is humbling a little bit. When I said I was giving it up for Lent, that was that, and I was keeping that promise to myself. And so when I felt like riled up and like I wanted to rant about something, I couldn't do it. I silenced myself. I took myself out of this political fight, this religious fight, this opinion fight, and I was just quiet. And I felt that. I felt I can't say anything. And that was probably good, considering sometimes I get a little, I don't know, on a pedestal, maybe all riled up, and I like take to Facebook and write my post, and my husband is always shaking his head in the background, always going, it's not a good idea. It's never a good idea. And sometimes I have been inclined to agree with him, but there are other times where I'm like, no, see, it was. Like, if I get validation from my journalism professor, that's my mark. I'm like, no, this was a fine idea. Anyway, not to be whatever, but I do think it is good to quiet yourself every now and then. Like, your opinion isn't the only opinion in the world, and maybe you just don't need to say anything. Maybe you don't need to say anything at all right now, and that's just that. So that was probably one of my favorite things that I thought about and realized, and one of the lessons I took away from that, time off of social media. My sweet spot, I think, for being on social at all is checking it once a week. I think, because I ended up doing Sundays on social media, I ended up checking in on Sundays. I would post a picture maybe, or I would not. I would just go on and see what's going on, because I do have family on Facebook, and like I said, my husband's friend was in an accident, and they were keeping everyone updated through Twitter, and like I said, there can be some wonderful, awesome things. So I did check in, and I think that's the perfect balance, is just checking in and not getting addicted to it. And I don't, to be perfectly honest, that is something I struggle with, is finding that balance of, okay, once I'm back on it, which I am, I went out to dinner with my best friends last night, and one of them was like, when you were doing the once a week thing, I could keep up with you, but now you're back on, there's just so much, and I'm like, yeah, I need to get off again, because I just get, I don't know, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, but finding that sweet spot of checking in and not getting addicted, because I don't know if it's like just me, am I the only person in the universe who is this way, but like, it is a little addicting. Like, being on your phone is a little addicting, and being on social media is a little addicting. Like, I'm not using addicting like, oh, I'm, literally scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's just like this crazy, crazy addiction, but an addiction in the way that, like, I just find myself going to it a little bit more than I'd probably like. Once I got back on it, it's like you slip right back into the same old habits of like, oh, I ended up here and I don't even know why I was on my phone. Like, why did I grab my phone? What was I looking up? I'm on Instagram. Like, what? So I think I need to be as intentional of, what I'm doing on any social media outlet and just maybe check in one day a week. That is what I think I would like to do. Now, I do like doing YouTube and writing and all of these different things, and I'm a part of a bunch of different writing groups and blog groups and stuff, and that's also a huge challenge because, I go on, I see something, and I want to jump on it, jump in the conversation, and try to, get information on what's going on, or this writing thing, or freelance jobs, or anything like that, and it's just a very hard balance to strike when trying to navigate throughout this whole entire world. Part of me just kind of like wants to go work in a little boutique or a flower shop for the rest of my life and just do that and not be on any sort of social media, because I get really frustrated because there are parts of it that I really enjoy. Like I keep up with some college friends that this way, and I don't think it's totally like a shallow connection or a shallow friendship or a shallow way to keep up with them. Like, we message each other, and I like that. I don't want to just like turn all means of communication like that off. And I reconnected with some family over a Facebook message, and it's just, I don't know, there is some real value and real worth in all of this stuff. It's just trying to strike a good balance to where you're not addicted. That's where I am, trying to get to a balance where I just don't go on it every day. And thankfully I have, in my set of friends, this set of friends who I grew up with, I'm just really not on my phone. I go out with them, my phone's in my bag, and I forget about it for hours. And it's funny, I actually rarely Instagram anything of being out with them because I just forget about my phone. Like that's my time with them. And that's how it's like amazing, because your mind is completely focused on what you're doing. And I love that. It's a very fulfilling part of my life. But then I'm like looking through my feed and I'm like, I need like more pictures of not my children and food. Like I want it to be of like me and my life. So maybe I should remember to take a picture of me and my friends out. Anyway, guys, that was my take. That was my experience. It was very fruitful. I ended up feeling guilty after a while because I was telling my husband, giving up something for Lent is supposed to feel super penitential. And after a while, I was like, this is so freeing. I think I would make it a habit. Every Lent, I go off social media. I think it's very in line with the season, in line of like, in tune of what you're supposed to be doing and getting ready for and all that. And I hope you've maybe gathered something from this, or if you kind of share the same struggle and you have some wisdom to share with me, would appreciate that as well, because clearly I am struggling. And if you follow me or are friends with me on any of my accounts, then I am back and talking politics more than ever. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Hopefully it'll be sooner, and hopefully it'll be on a tripod with maybe some mascara on. So see you next time, guys. Bye.